This is Zach from ECU Masters. He's one of the sponsors of Lone Star Drift. He owns the North American distributorship of ECU Master, obviously. And I thought, I have never seen a video on why sponsors should sponsor people and how sponsorships work out for them instead of the racers. So Zach is going to introduce himself and then tell us all about what works with sponsors, how to get sponsors, how to make yourself valuable to them. Because if a person is valuable to you, you'd never get rid of them.
Right.
You would keep them for 50 years.
Yes, absolutely.
And yet you typically see sponsored drivers fall in and out constantly.
Right.
So you tell us what you want and everything else, and then
Sure.
just look at the camera.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we were chatting earlier about what it is that makes for a good partnership in sponsoring, right? So we were talking about, like, obviously it costs money, right? I'm not a charity. I wish I could be and just give everything away, but I need to grow the business. And so anytime I give somebody product, I have to ensure that I'm getting more out of that product than I would if I just spent that money promoting our own Facebook videos or Google AdWords, right? So it's always a competition. Even if you're not competing with other drivers, you're competing with my dollars compared to other streams of ad revenue, right? So, or not even revenue, but ad spend. So I was talking with Aaron about what it is that makes for a good partnership, which ones have worked out, which ones haven't. I'm not going to name any specifics. I'm just talking in general, like what things about a sponsorship worked out for the best and what didn't. What were we talking about?
So in regards to like sponsored drivers,
yeah,
we were talking about what the failure rate of your marketing dollars are invested directly in drivers and racing versus YouTube people versus any other form of advertising. So chat about that, and then also how you can see the metrics of that, I guess you could say, like when you see sales bumps, anything like that, whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah, so I've started asking very different questions. You know, in the early days, I was more willing to give drivers product because I thought that it went somewhere. After a few deals that didn't work out so well, now I ask questions about who's doing the wiring on the car, who's going to do the tuning. You know, do they have a plan in place to actually use the products that I'm providing to them, right? If they're going to throw it on the last minute, expect everything to be perfect when the wiring's not done well, when they don't know how to support the car, they don't have a good relationship with the tuner, that ends really poorly. So I'm more inclined, if somebody, you know, if somebody sent me a very brief sponsorship proposal and they had their metrics on the top and said, I've got this many followers on Instagram, this many subscribers on YouTube, this many on Facebook, like that's honestly what I care about more than a driver being on the podium. Unless you're the best in the world, you know, like absolute top of the game, you know, those deals would make money for me without you doing any media for me. But otherwise, you need to be on the media game and make it worth my investment.
How about like you working with drivers that just legitimize your brand?
Sure.
So like you just work with like any rad dudes that have cool cars, and because they have cool cars and because the cars run and they're like legitimate people and they don't have media power or anything else, does that work for you? Do those people ever legitimize your brand or anything?
How would anyone know about it?
You would have to distribute their own content for them. Do you do that at all or no? That's
not really.
Useless.
Because then I have to pay to generate the content and then I have to pay to push it out there, right? There's no audience, right? It's only the audience I already have, which is not huge. I am partnering with people to expand my audience and find like-minded customers, right? So I've had a couple of really great relationships with guys who do racing but also do a lot of media. And the media is what really pushes it, right? If somebody makes great videos, I know what it costs to make a video. I know what it costs in general to get a video view out of, you know, Google AdWords or YouTube or Facebook. Like it costs me money. So if somebody says, hey, I've got 50, 100,000, a million subscribers, right? That's past the tip over point of what I would have to spend to get the video in front of people. So really the numbers matter a lot.
When you think about advertising, do you ever think about super long-term advertising? Like if you think about famous drag racers, famous drifters, famous road racers, their brands stick with them, like the advertising for 20 years. Do you see yourself as a brand that like can associate yourself with an amazing driver like that?
Yeah,
or
I'd love to.
Or is it just simply media power, metrics, and that kind of stuff?
Right. If I see a lot of potential in someone, if they have a good program, if they've got talent, it could be a program of you know, if they've got a really talented driver, one crew member, and maybe one person doing the team management. If it's just 3 killer people that are going to make that program huge, then yeah, I'd be more likely to invest. But if somebody comes to me and their car has been half put together at events before, they've only done local grassroots stuff or local pro-am, then it's not worth my investment. So if I see a lot of potential, if I see, hey, this guy's got a great personality, they're going to do some media stuff, I see him going somewhere with being competitive, long term, yeah, I would be more likely to invest in that. But they would have to give me a proposal that highlights those skills and where they want to be in 20 years. A lot of the proposals I get are either so long or don't cover of anything. They don't tell me why it's going to be worth something to me, right? They have to make that sales pitch.
How long would you like a proposal to be, and what format, and what do you want from a driver? Because we're mainly focused with drivers on the Lone Star Drift channel.
Right.
What would you like from the drivers?
Really, no longer than probably 3 pages. I know guys love putting long proposals together, but I don't want to see it. I want it to get straight to the point and tell me what's in it for me, right? I'm being selfish, right? I want to know exactly how I'm going to get a return on whatever dollar value I'm giving you in product. Don't ramble. Don't promise things you haven't ever done. If you're going to say you're going to make media, you better made some media the last season and show me that track record, right? Even if it's not the best, I want to see something. And what I want to see from a driver, I mean, there's more value in the media than there is in podium results unless you're competing and winning on a national scale or an international scale. So, personality and media and, that's more value to me than competitive race results, really.
Have you thought about how dangerous it is for a sponsor to actually even be involved with racing when the results can be really bad? Like, say you have a driver, your driver's car could blow up, your driver could have catastrophic failure and never finish. Is it dangerous getting into the game, or it's not dangerous because everybody understands what racing is and they all just want to be racing and they understand what's going on?
Right. I think a lot of racing is racing, right? I think it would be hard for it to be harmful, but I have had situations where we've become involved with someone whose program wasn't up to par at all, and everything else in their program failed. And the money we gave them in products didn't go anywhere because they either didn't make an event or they didn't finish it or whatever else. But, it's just a waste of money. It's not that it hurts us. We're still getting some exposure, but, clearly we don't want to throw money at, good money at bad.
Okay. What else should we talk about? Anything in particular?
Man, I just see a lot of proposals that are so bad. Like, they say they're going to hand out stickers at local events. That does nothing for me. Like giving away stickers, I still have to pay for the stickers too.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just collect stickers and put them on their beer fridge. That does me no good. So don't even talk about stickers, please, unless you're telling me the size and locations of where they're going to go on your car.
Yeah.
We want our product name to be visible on your car if you're going to compete. Trying to think what else is of value. Yeah, if you tell me, I want to know about the team who's working on the car. Like, I don't want to just know about you. You're just driving it. I want to know that you've got a good mechanic, that you've got a good wiring guy, that you've got a relationship with a good tuner. Like, let me know that you're going to get the most out of the product and that you're not going to call me at 2 a.m. the night before the first race of the season and say, hey, I can't figure out how to get this thing running. My buddy did the wiring with wire nuts. How do I use a multimeter? I want a hassle-free relationships. I want you to have some skilled people around you. And that doesn't mean you need to find the most expensive people on the planet, but you need to have a team in place if you're going to compete.
What are your best marketing dollars you've ever spent?
There's one group that I worked with where they compete in racing. And they do a few events a year. They don't do a ton, but the car is always put together well. They nut and bolt and check it before every event. They've got a great wiring guy. They've got a great tuner. They've got a great media team, right? They did a video on our EMU Black power management unit and the keypad, and it got like 100,000 views, I think, in the first day. And it was, it wasn't just a blatant advertisement, but it was going over the install of the product, what it did for their car, how it improved their racing program. And, I definitely noticed a sales uptick after people knew about the product, right? Explained it. And it's, whenever they ask me for something, I give it to them, and I want to keep working with them for seasons to come because they already more than paid for themselves, right? So that's what I want from every sponsorship program is you at least cover the cost of what I put into it. And, that's bare minimum, right? I have to get everything out that I put in. And beyond that, I want it to grow the brand and get more reach out there. So that's one of the better ones. Another one that worked out great was a driver who's not even, I think he's more resigned to doing local stuff now than competing on the national scale just for the economics of it. But he has a web store and sells and supports the products that he used on his personal race car. So he took sponsor relationships and turned that into a business distributing and selling products. And he's one of our top dealers now. And that's a fantastic relationship because he got to know the product, used it in his own car, showed other people that he could compete with all the parts that he uses, and now he sells our product. And so, it's a great, that's a great partnership because it made sense for everybody. Everybody gets to make some money.
You should name that guy so people can go see.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Matt's Barabo, and I'm blanking on the name of his shop. How did I forget that? Oh, iRace. So
awesome. So it's good to have good experiences.
Let me look up their web address so you can cut the video. Can you do that?
Yeah. It's all. Yeah, I won't talk then.
Yeah. So one of the best sponsor relationships I had was with a driver, Matt Barabo. He competed in Formula Drift, and now he's doing more local stuff. I think he just the travel schedule was too much, and I think economically he found a better value in just enjoying local events than doing the big show. But yeah, so he's got a business selling race car parts, and they build cars, and he obviously learned how to use the products on his own car. But yeah, he owns iRaceAutosports.com, and he sells our products. I know they sell a lot of Cosmos wheels, BC coilovers. So he took all of these sponsor driver relationships and turned them into dealer relationships, and now he sells parts. And that's as good a partnership as anyone could ask for because he knows the product, he knows the racing, he knows the customers, and it works great for everybody. So that's been a phenomenal relationship to have.
Where do you see sponsorship stuff going in the future? Where do you think that your ad revenue, ad sales,
ad spend.
We keep doing that, ad spending.
Ad spend, ad budget.
10 years ago, it was all in magazines.
Yeah.
And magazines owned the market, and there was only a few companies collecting all the dollars. Then everybody just kind of started spending money randomly because I don't think they knew where to spend it.
We're figuring it out, yeah.
And now I think they're starting to figure out where to spend it because they can track sales in a very short time period. Because if someone releases a YouTube video or a post or something, you can see a sales spike immediately and track the sales. And it's all in a very short time period. Would you agree with that?
I absolutely agree.
So it's trackable and it's not random. Because before you would have to do blanket advertising and just hope that whatever you were spending your money on showed up within a 3 to 4 month span of time.
And hope that they write on the comment card, where did you hear about us, XYZ, yeah.
Yeah. So where do you think your ad spending will go in the next 5 to 10 years?
5 to 10 years.
I know it's difficult.
Yeah,
but
no.
What do you think?
So I spend a little bit on magazines, and I do that because they push a lot of online content as well. I feel like most of the print mags are still behind on the online stuff a little bit. So I don't feel like that's, I do it just to do it, but I don't know if that's the best use of our advertising dollars. Certainly if somebody has the reach on YouTube, that is a phenomenal spend because YouTube is longer format. People put it on during their lunch break and watch, or they have it on in the background during work. It's much more targeted. You subscribe to things you like. So there's more interaction. You can comment. It's more of a community. So YouTube is probably, that's our best spend right now for advertising. And I think in the future, everything else is still short format. Snapchat is short format. Facebook videos are short format. They're getting more on the episodes thing. That might become a thing. But YouTube, I think, is the hot spot right now. And I think that's where we're going to see a lot of growth in the next 5 to 10 years.
Okay. You think of anything else? I think that was a really good segment.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, just keep it brief. Tell me why you're worth something to me, right? It's a sales pitch, right? You're selling yourself. So, giving out stickers, we don't care about. Putting a sticker on your car, yeah, that's something. But, give me a detailed plan of what you're going to promise me to help me grow the brand and help grow your brand at the same time. But be specific. Don't rant for 20 pages at a time. But yeah, that's it. Keep it brief. Make me a good sales pitch. Call me up and say, hey, I just sent you a proposal. Want to talk to you. I hope you had a chance to look at it. Feel free to give me a phone call, but yeah, just don't spam me with something that's going to take me a half hour to read because I'm probably just not.
So I just wrote you this up, and I would like to talk about free things.
Sure.
No, I'm joking. This was not a paid advertisement or anything. He was just over here hanging out with us today over at Toby Speakers, and we're building a car, actually 2 cars, the Corvette, 3 cars. The Mustang just got running, the 370Z's on the lift, and the Corvette's over here. And he came to hang out because he's a buddy of ours. And because he was hanging out, I thought we should make some cool videos because he's in a really unique position of knowing exactly, on the other side of the fence of all of our drivers.
I'm the one that has to write the checks.
So thank you very much. Let's go drink beer or do something else.
Woohoo! How many sponsorship requests do you think I'm going to get this week?
If any, hopefully better ones.
Right.
That would be really interesting if some